kind of like what I did with the Parrot, or with the Typhoon. What's up guys, Shawn here. Today we're going to talk about the Parrot Anafi. We're going to cover a couple topics. One of the questions on my channel was, have I determined whether or not this is engineered light or fragile? And I'm going to answer that question with this. Yes, this feels cheap. Is it engineered cheap? I don't think so. I think it's engineered light. And the reason I say that is the biggest thing on a drone, the heaviest part of any drone, is the battery. And they were able to make this battery small and last 25 minutes. So this battery is a little bit bigger than the Spark battery, okay? I mean, it might be the same size as the Spark battery. It's a little thinner, but about the same thickness. And I can get about 22 minutes is when it's telling me to go home. So I could get 25-minute flight time out of this if I wanted to. Safely, I can get about 22, 23 minutes out of it. With that said, the same battery size, I have twice the flight time as I do on my Spark. So is it engineered cheaply? I think it's engineered lightly. You know, there's gliders that are super cheaply made, but people get in them and fly for hours, okay? There's kites that fly in the air. There's kites with lawnmower engines attached to them and a seat that people fly around in. Is that fragile? Heck yes, it's fragile. Are you gonna fly that into a building? Heck no. If you drive your car into a building, you might live. If you drive one of those kites into a wall, you might not live through that. So all that to say, guys, and there's people flying off mountains with nothing but a jumpsuit on. You know, those little, they got the little flying squirrel suits, I don't know what they're called. But all that to say, when you are flying through the air, weight is your enemy, okay? So if you think about a Phantom 4, Phantom 4s are big drones because their battery is like it's like a big Subway sandwich. And that battery weighs a lot. So all that to say, this drone is light. Is it fragile? I will be safe to say every drone is fragile. Every drone I have is fragile. This one is fragiler. Yes. There's parts of it that seem very fragile. But you've got to ask yourself, what do you want your drone to do? Do you want your drone to fly? Yes. In order for your drone to fly, the propellers need to carry the weight of the battery and the camera. Period. There's a motherboard in there, there's some circuitry in there, but for the most part, there's a big old honking battery and there's a camera lens. Sometimes a gimbal. This gimbal is super light. And yes, it feels fragile. But I've had a lot of drones with gimbals on them that felt really, really fragile. But they've lasted for years because I took care of them. These blades, I can put my finger under this blade and I can see through it. That's how thin the blade is. Is it super fragile? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Will it carry this bird? Yes. Yes, it will. Is it quiet? Yes, it's very quiet. One of the tests we're going to do today, I've got these Instamics. And I'll be reviewing these later on my channel. But these things are awesome. So I've got one on me. And then another one I'm going to sit down on the table and I'm going to fly my drone next to it. And I'm going to do that kind of far away from me so you can hear me talking in the mic and you can hear what the drone sounds like. But this drone is the quietest drone that I've ever had. Well, scratch that. I've had some little, like the Parrot Mambo was pretty quiet. But it was definitely a toy. This is the first 4K HDR Sony CMOS sensor, you know, fold up photography tool that flies. It's the quietest one that I've had. So the other thing that we're going to talk about today is object avoidance. It's a little windy today, so I'm a little nervous to fly it around obstacles today. But we're going to try. We're going to see what we can do. If there's something that's... I'm not going to do anything stupid. But we're going to hook everything up and we're going to fly around some obstacles, kind of like what we did with the Unique Breeze 4K. But this is a tiny drone. I can fit it in tiny places. I can point the camera up and down. It's got HDR video. There's just a lot of good stuff packed into this little drone. So I have one more thing to say about the ruggedness of this drone. These blades are pretty cheap, but they're going to carry this drone wherever I want to put it. Okay? If I get too close to a tree and I clip one of these blades with a branch, chances are my drone's going to fly out of the sky. So, drone flying tip number one, don't fly it towards a tree. Don't get close to branches. It's real easy to see that you're not going to hit a telephone pole. Okay? It's real easy when you're flying line of sight to not hit a telephone pole. But it's really hard not to hit a telephone wire, because at a distance, they're almost invisible. Okay? Same way with a tree. Trees, in its entirety, is pretty easy to avoid. But if you want to get bold and take a risk and fly close to that tree, chances are you're going to hit a branch that's sticking out that you don't even see. Like, I'm looking at the trees around me right now, and, you know, it's kind of a big ball. Like, the pear tree is like a big ball. But then you've got a couple little branches that are like sticking out that I can barely see from, 40 feet away. So if I'm 100 feet away, there's no way I'm going to see that branch, unless it's on my screen at the last second and it's too late. So do not fly towards trees. Do not fly towards fences that are nearly invisible from a distance. Don't fly towards power lines that cause magnetic issues with your drones and are hard to see from a distance. We're not going to do any of that stuff today. We're going to fly kind of around some tables that are pretty easy to see. But I just want to show you that I can fly up to an object without hitting it. Okay? Every drone I have, if I fly too close to a tree, it will break. It will fall out of the sky. Okay? The only drone that might not fall out of the sky is my Unique Typhoon H, because it has, if I break one blade, I've got 5 other backup blades that will carry the bird safely to the ground. So don't fly it into a tree, guys. Don't fly it into a wall. I've had some people comment on Facebook that they were flying their Parrot Anafi around a building and they lost connection because for some reason their Wi-Fi signal would not go through 10 layers of concrete and windows and like, so here's the building and they're flying around the building and the building is between them and their drone and they lost connection. So what happens with the Parrot Anafi when it loses connection, in order to prevent the drone from flying off, it'll stop, hover where it's at for a little bit, wait to see if it gets the signal back, and then it'll return to home. Their return to home was not taller than the building. Okay? So what happened was, when their drone started to return to home, it flew right into the building. Every drone on the market will fly right into that building if you don't have the return to home set correctly. So pro tip, Figure out what the tallest object is around you and set your return to home to taller than that. And you'll be good to go. All right? All right, guys, we're all connected. We're gonna take it off the ground, all right? And we're gonna try to fly low. We're gonna try to fly between the picnic tables, just kind of fly around. It's a little windy. So first I'm gonna pull it up above the picnic tables to see if it's gonna whip it around too much, because it's really unfair that it's this windy out here. But yeah, I'm just gonna show you that you can fly a drone without object avoidance. So here we go. All right, guys, so I'm gonna take it over by the microphone so you can just see what it sounds like. It might be like just wind pointing down on the microphone, but so I'm just kind of flying by the microphone just so you guys can see what it's like. It's kind of bouncing around in the wind a little bit. There's a big gust. So we're gonna fly over here. Fly around. And then here's a true obstacle course, guys. We're gonna go down to the picnic tables. We're barely on the ground. Now I've got it in film mode, so it's moving around pretty slow. But let's say I'm going towards that picnic table. I can let go and it's just gonna stop where it needs to go. I can back up and it'll stop where it needs to go. Now you need to keep kind of a little distance away from things because there's a little bit of a drift, but there it is again, guys. It's not that big a deal. So then this drone has 3 times optical zoom on it. So I don't even really need to get close to anything if I want to get a good picture of it. But just to show you guys, we're gonna fly through the picnic tables just so you guys can see. Look at that, guys. Woo! Here we go. Whoa. There it is, guys. Easy peasy. All right? It's not a big deal. So, something else we're going to do is we're going to fly, and you can hear it kind of whispering around, trying to fight that wind. We're going to fly it over here. All right, guys, so this is going to be our second obstacle course. I'm gonna go down the stairs. Now it's got sensors on the bottom of it, so it'll be able to know when it's about to hit the ground. But look at that, guys. I'm flying all around these places I would hardly ever fly. This is a worst case scenario for me, guys. Most of my flying is going to be up in the air. But I just want you guys to see how responsive this drone is. I'm going to stay down here and I'm going to fly up to you guys. All right, guys? See how it lifted up there a little bit? It doesn't want to fly close to the ground. So I'm not pushing up on the stick, I'm just going over steps. See how it lifted up there? Now it's not perfect, but if I just go over to another step, it's going to climb the step. All right. So we're going to hang out right there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to climb a hill. So I'm going to put my camera over here. We're just going to look at this hill. All right, guys. We're going to see what it does. This is a very steep hill, so it might not be the best example. All right, guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it climb up that hill. Now, I'm not pointing the sticks up at all, but what it's doing is it's measuring how far it is off the ground, and it's just going to keep that height. I'm going to go real slow. I want you guys to see how it's just going to... Nope, it didn't do it. All right, guys, so what I'm doing is I'm just pulling up on the stick a little bit. I'll be interested to see if coming down the hill, if it's going to keep that distance from the ground or if it's just going to go in a straight line. So we'll see. All right, here we go. We're going to go down the hill. I'm just going to go in a straight line. Now, if I had a DJI Spark, it would not even be able to handle this because I'm too close to anything. And it's windy out here, guys. My bird is holding. Whoa, I'm getting a little too fast. Getting antsy. All right, guys. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fly right through this little spot right here. Whoa. See, guys, if you fly slow and you fly safe, you don't really need object avoidance. I mean, you don't want to get any closer than this to anything. There it is, guys. So that's the Parrot Anafi. No obstacle avoidance, just flying around. I flew around picnic tables, I flew around fences, I flew around, well, they're not fences, guardrails. I flew up around sidewalk. I went between poles and trees. So instead of worrying about whether or not your drone has obstacle avoidance, just go learn how to fly a drone, guys. It's really not that hard. If you go slow, just like parking in a really tight parking space, you just go really, really slow so you don't hit anything. It's as simple as that. But most of the time, I'm up in the air. I fly at safe heights. So I pick, like out here, these big light poles are probably the tallest things out here. And I'll just kind of eyeball how tall they are. You can even fly your drone over to it, like point your camera straight forward, horizontal, and then fly up to the pole and just fly up the pole. And then whenever you're higher than the pole, then you're higher than anything out here, okay? And then give yourself like 50 feet higher than that, just as a buffer, and you're not gonna hit a thing unless there's some kamikaze bird gonna come hit you. So, yeah, I just wanna encourage you guys to fly safe. I've seen a lot of people crash with object avoidance on their drones because they think they're unstoppable. They think, the drones aren't going to hit anything because it's a perfect science. So, yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, catch you on the next video, guys. Peace out.